Only on 4 tonight, the Missouri governor accused of being a homewrecker.
The episode has done unspeakable damage to my family.
A hushed affair.
I needed to get out there and tell the truth.
And allegations of potential blackmail. News 4 investigates the shocking story one man says the governor wants hidden.
I got to get this behind me.
Live from KMOV, News 4 is covering breaking news.
Good evening. Within the last 30 minutes, Governor Eric Greitens confirmed to News 4 that he did have an extramarital affair.
A News 4 investigation prompted this bombshell announcement from Governor Greitens and his wife. And in a moment, you will hear from the governor and First Lady. But first, we want to bring in News 4 investigator Lauren Traeger. Lauren, this is a story you've been working on for almost a year.
Yes, it is. News 4 has obtained a recording of a woman allegedly confessing to her then-husband in great detail about a sexual encounter she had with Governor Greitens just months before he announced he was running for governor. News 4 has corroborated a number of the details in the story, but has decided to protect the woman and her husband by concealing their identities. The reason? While the affair is one thing, it's what the woman says Greitens did to keep her quiet that some might find the most disturbing.
I'm Eric Greitens. I'm a Navy SEAL. I'm a businessman. I am a native Missourian, but most importantly, I am a very proud husband and father.
During his campaign and while in office, Governor Greitens has built himself a family man. But acts a woman accuses Greitens of committing on tape, this man says, are horrible and disgusting.
I think it's absolutely inhuman and evil. I truly do.
The man provided details to News 4 of a sexual encounter between his now ex-wife and Greitens back in March of 2015. News 4 is choosing not to name the woman. She has not made on-the-record comments for the story. The recording was made just days after Greitens and the woman's first sexual encounter. His wife did not know as she confessed intimate details to her husband.
So on Saturday morning, before my first client, I did go to his house. The first time ever. Like I said, nothing, period, had ever happened or taken place until this snowball tornado just happened. I know I brought it on.
The woman explains that her interactions with Greitens were sometimes initiated by herself. They met because she cut his hair.
I met Eric a year ago, and I instantly had a big crush on him.
She says she felt drawn to talk to him, but when he told her, I want you to come over to his house, she first said no. She wanted to meet for coffee, but Greitens said to her, no, I can't. I can't be seen with you. This is wrong.
And I said, I know. So he said, just come to my house.
She agreed to go to his house to talk. It's unclear where Greitens' wife or children were at this time. The woman admits that when the sexual encounter began that day, it was wanted.
He said, I'll make you feel better. I'll make you feel good. Come downstairs. I want to show you how to do a proper pull-up. And I knew that he was being sexual, and I still let him. And he used some sort of tape, I don't know what it was, and taped my hands to these rings, and then put a blindfold on me.
She went on to say, though, that some of his actions scared her.
I don't even know. I feel like I don't even know. This is numb. I just don't know.
She then described what Greitens allegedly did next that made her feel sick.
And he stepped back, and I saw a flash through the blindfold. He said, you're never going to mention my name. Otherwise, this picture will be everywhere.
It's this action that upset her husband at the time.
He took a picture of my wife naked as blackmail. There is no worse person.
And what still upsets him to this day.
I think it's as bad as it gets. I think it's as bad as it gets when somebody takes advantage of somebody.
The woman says she was angry at Greitens for taking a picture of her, though in the conversation she does take on some of the blame for their interactions and says that Greitens apologized after the encounter and told her he had erased the picture. She claims they had at least one more physical interaction later that day. After the tearful confession, the man and his wife tried reconciling, but according to the man, Greitens was still in her life. In October 2015, the woman allegedly sent an email to a Gmail account she told her husband she had previously used to get in touch with Greitens. It said, "Eric, I am asking you to please consider all who are involved and the circumstances around us. I need you to not book at the salon anymore. This isn't fair to me nor anyone close to us. Please respect me and my wishes."
I'm not after anything. I don't want to be part of politics. I don't want to be a part of anything. I just want to move on with my life.
The man says he didn't want to speak out before, but says recently he's been contacted by law enforcement authorities and members of the media. He says he wanted to get in front of a story he believed would come out eventually, and he wants to protect his family.
Something happened and turned all this and had people hounding me further and further and further, even leaving a voicemail on my daughter's phone. When that happened, everything changed.
The man's attorney, Al Watkins, confirms he, too, has been in contact repeatedly with law enforcement agencies about this.
My knowledge and my experience leads me to believe that, at very least, there is an elevated degree of interest in what is going on.
Did you provide this recording to them?
Yes.
The man and his wife sought a divorce in March of 2016. By Election Day, November 2016, the man was on social media calling Greitens a, quote, homewrecker.
This didn't just destroy our marriage. This destroyed an entire environment, an entire ecosystem. This destroyed it all.
Now, we have spoken with an attorney representing the woman in this case who says they have no comment right now. Just a short time ago, though, the governor and his wife released a statement, and we want to read it to you in full. A few years ago, before Eric was elected governor, there was a time when he was unfaithful in our marriage. This was a deeply personal mistake. Eric took responsibility, and we dealt with this together, honestly and privately. While we never would have wished for this pain in our marriage or the pain that this has caused others, with God's mercy, Sheena has forgiven and we have emerged stronger. We understand that there will be some people who cannot forgive, but for those who can find it in your heart, Eric asks for your forgiveness, and we are grateful for your love, your compassion, and your prayers. In a separate statement from the First Lady, Sheena Greitens, she said, "We have a loving marriage and an awesome family. Anything beyond that is between us and God. We want the media and those who wish to peddle gossip to stay away from me and my children."
Live from KMOV, this is News 4 at 6.
For the moment, let us walk off the battlefield with our heads held high.
The governor of Missouri is stepping down. Thank you for joining us for News 4 at 6. I'm Steve Savard.
And I'm Courtney Bryant. The historic announcement comes after months of scandal and investigation against Governor Eric Greitens. We have team coverage right now with crews gathering the latest from Jefferson City and from right here in the News 4 newsroom. First, we start with our Matt Cesney.
Yeah, Courtney, it was stunning and it was quick today. This decision from the governor coming just as the special committee investigating him was meeting just 2 floors down in the Capitol basement here. And a local judge just about 4 blocks from the Capitol building had ruled against the Greitens camp, supporting a subpoena from the House committee and ordering Greitens attorneys to turn over documents to them. At about 3 o'clock today, the committee chairman quickly ended that committee hearing, wrapping it up, while a witness was testifying about alleged wrongdoing in the Greitens campaign. And then came the governor's stunning announcement at 4:30 this afternoon.
This ordeal has been designed to cause an incredible amount of strain on my family. Millions of dollars of mounting legal bills, endless personal attacks designed to cause maximum damage to family and friends. Legal harassment of colleagues, friends, and campaign workers, and it's clear that for the forces that oppose us, there is no end in sight. I cannot allow those forces to continue to cause pain and difficulty to the people that I love. I know, and people of good faith know, that I am not perfect. But I have not broken any laws nor committed any offense worthy of this treatment. I will let the fairness of this process be judged by history.
All right, many Republican lawmakers I communicated with by text today told me they were finally relieved getting this announcement from the governor. At least 2 Republican lawmakers that I spoke to tell me that this House investigative committee was well on its way, they believe, to drafting at least 5 articles of impeachment against the governor just over the campaign issue alone. And another lawmaker telling me that it was likely pressure from many high-powered donors who are now risking having their names made public by that judge's ruling today. Nonetheless, Governor Greitens is stepping down on Friday, and Lieutenant Governor Mike Parson will become governor of Missouri. And I'm told by several sources that State Senator Mike Kehoe from the Jefferson City area will become the next lieutenant governor. Live inside the state capitol, Matt Cesny, News 4.
All new tonight and only on 4, a map with a lot of pins. Each one of those costing you and our schools. These all represent properties which a wealthy California man owns.
But he is not paying taxes on most of them. So News 4 investigator Chris Negus headed to L.A. to find out why he's slouching.
We're here in Southern California. Let's see if we can get some answers.
Before I made my way up this sidewalk in an exclusive Southern California neighborhood where multi-million-dollar homes are the norm, I started on a more modest block, Mueller Avenue in Ferguson.
I'm due any minute.
Inside this small home, Trishana Lawson is raising a family.
I have 2 boys.
Her rent is $5.95 a month, and it's owed to a landlord 2,000 miles away. In St. Louis County, Lawson's home is just one of 614 houses owned by a company called Raineth Housing. The taxes on Lawson's home are delinquent, and on at least 558 Raineth properties, the story is the same. On many homes, the taxes haven't been paid for 3 years. News 4 Investigates compiled a list of every St. Louis County property owned by Raineth Housing and determined more than $1.1 million is owed to taxing districts throughout St. Louis County. The Director of Revenue explains why it matters.
When people don't pay their taxes, those districts have less revenue with which to supply services.
Good morning.
That includes school districts.
Happy Monday to you. How are you doing, beautiful?
Like Jennings, where unpaid real estate taxes and fees on Raineth houses total more than $268,000.
Stay in line, stay in line.
More than half that money belongs to schools like Fairview Elementary.
Would that amount of money make a real impact?
The amount of funds that you discussed, it would make a tremendous impact because that would be the equivalent of 2 to 3 teachers, maybe even more in funding.
Dr. Art McCoy's district isn't the only one that's owed. Unpaid taxes and fees on Raineth homes in the Ferguson-Florissant district total nearly $250,000. Riverview Gardens, $267,000. In Normandy, more than $257,000. If the Raineth name sounds familiar, it's because News 4 Investigates began asking questions in 2015, when depressed real estate values in North County led to a buying spree. On this street alone, they own this one, this house, and this one too, and this one, and last but not least, this one. But now, with debts that have a direct impact on local taxpayers piling up, I headed west to California and sat down with Raineth's CEO, Ed Renwick, to ask about all the houses he bought.
The vast majority of those are delinquent in taxes.
Probably, yeah.
The news comes as no surprise to Renwick, and he's candid in his responses.
You owe a lot of money.
We do, and we're not happy about it. It's, we have invested, so we're behind in our taxes because we're behind in our profitability.
From his Brentwood, California living room, Renwick is alerted each time a Missouri tenant reports an issue.
Tenant says there was a piping issue down the street.
The former private equity firm partner openly admits the business is more complicated than he expected.
We were surprised at the challenges of operating the business. I mean, we rent to folks who have, who don't make much money. And folks who don't make much money sometimes are short on their rent.
But you knew that going in.
Yeah, but it's one thing to know something intellectually. It's another thing to create an operating business. It's very complicated.
He insists he's raising capital to pay off the tax debt, but that assurance isn't enough to alleviate the concerns of Susan Rollins.
What's going to happen 6 months down the road or a year down the road? I'm concerned about that.
As the executive director of the county's housing authority, she's familiar with Renwick's company. On some Raineth homes, your federal tax dollars pay the rent. In 2017, those Section 8 payouts totaled more than $500,000 in St. Louis County alone.
So you wonder
Legally, Rollins can't say which properties received those payments, but she reviewed her records and confirmed some Rainith properties received Section 8 payouts but failed to pay local taxes.
That just adds insult to injury, I believe. You should take even more of an interest in paying your taxes if you're receiving subsidy from the federal government for your business.
Back in L.A., Renwick says he's working on it and says failure to pay was a calculated decision because rehabbing, repairs, and maintenance are expensive. He says at the moment he's making zero. And although failure to pay taxes is bad, he sees the alternative as worse.
We had a choice. Stop investing in our tenants or fall behind in taxes, and we chose to fall behind in taxes.
And that means his tax bill is piling up with interest and penalties. Renwick sees a silver lining where others do not.
The students that you're worried about and that I'm worried about will, end of day, they are, in effect, loaning me money, right? Because I'm late on my taxes. But they're making a 24% interest rate. So end of day, the city of St. Louis will more than be whole.
So at the end of the day, they'll make more than they would have had you paid on time.
Much more.
That's the argument.
Well, it's a factual statement.
We'd rather have money on time than money 2 or 3 years delayed, because 2 or 3 years delayed delays the services.
Renwick won't be able to delay much longer. Taxes on nearly 350 of his St. Louis County properties haven't been paid in 3 years. That means St. Louis County will auction them off in August if he doesn't pay up.
The citizens of St. Louis should feel glad that, you know, if we do not pay the taxes, we will lose the houses. And so I can't get away with it.
And it doesn't stop here. Along with owning hundreds of homes in our area, Renwick's company also owns hundreds of properties in Kansas City and Cincinnati, where he also owes hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid taxes. So we are going to stay on top of this until taxpayers are made whole. Chris Nagus, News 4.
Here's a look at the destruction left behind after an outbreak of tornadoes in Illinois. Sky Zoom 4 was over the damage in Litchfield this morning as many were surveying what's left of their homes and businesses. 5 tornadoes have been confirmed in our viewing area, with the strongest hitting Litchfield, which is 60 miles northeast of downtown St. Louis in Montgomery County. News 4's Paige Halsey introduces us to a family who say they're lucky to be alive.
You can see the damage from Saturday's tornado. This shed behind me, destroyed. This lumber in front of me, from a property nearly a mile away. And that tornado just kept going down Roland Lane.
As we see it get closer, we've run down the hallway, and that's where we stayed. But it happened so quick.
That was enough to protect Lawrence Rowland and his wife from the tornado.
It's got holes here and there, but we'll patch it up.
But all around them, twisted trees, torn up sheds, and trampled trucks. All he cares about, though, the people in the home down this dirt road.
I just wanted to see her alive.
This is where he ran as soon as the tornado passed, to check on his daughter and grandson.
I didn't know what to think. I thought they was gone.
Because of how bad it looked?
They wouldn't answer. But it's all right. They're safe.
Family and friends, including folks who drove from as far away as Indiana, came to help with the cleanup.
Try to piece it back together.
Coming up on News 4 at 6, we'll take you down the road and introduce you to that daughter who just this year has survived 2 life-threatening scares. In Litchfield, Paige Halsey, News 4.
A chain many of you shop at is making changes after a News 4 investigation.
The retailer was putting you at risk with its rewards program. Only News 4 investigator Lauren Traeger is fighting for results.
From antacids to Zyrtec, candy, cards, and condoms. There's a lot you can buy at your local neighborhood Walgreens.
You work hard with us?
Yes, I do.
What's great? Getting cash back. Enter your phone number and you can earn balance rewards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We thought we should check how many points we have.
Recently, though, Trey Forrester made a startling discovery.
It's just ridiculous to me.
On the Walgreens website, you could enter in anyone's phone number, and if they're a member, you could see exactly what they bought, when, where, and for how much.
You just need their phone number. It's simple. Just a phone number.
Forrester looked up a few friends.
I mean, I didn't let him know what I saw, but I mean, he had purchased Rogaine. I mean, that's not information that you want anyone to know.
Hey, come on over here.
And we put the site to the test, too.
Did you know that I could pull up your information from Walgreens?
No.
Very easily with just your phone number?
That's really concerning.
599.
Since I have reporter Marielle's number, I simply plugged it in.
1 million people have my number. Wow.
So I know that on October 10th you picked up a prescription.
I don't like that at all, and I'm really uncomfortable.
And I got lots of similar reactions.
Let's see. You want to see?
Yeah.
My coworkers' accounts only one click away.
So I'm essentially logged in as you.
That's scary.
With just your phone number.
I learned a few things about their habits, some not so bad.
This looked like a good day, actually. There's wine and ice cream. That's a good day.
Others potentially dangerous if in the wrong hands.
Yeah, I could probably tell you either just went on a trip or you were going on one.
Getting ready to go on a trip
from
there.
that.
Yeah.
So if I'm a burglar, I could maybe discern some things from that.
We took the issue to consumer experts who say it's a huge breach of privacy.
It's really crazy.
Kara Spencer works for the Consumer Council of Missouri and is also an elected official.
For me, my phone number is very public. Anybody can find it, but I think that is true of almost anybody these days.
Spencer says our purchases can say a lot about what's going on with us. Items like itch cream, lice shampoo, or adult diapers, for example.
It may be something that you don't want your employer, your friends or neighbors to know that you're experiencing some kind of medical situation.
Or personal items like pregnancy tests and condoms could perhaps show an X. You're moving on.
If you're having a domestic dispute or something that could really end up by putting you in personal danger.
She says nothing about the Balance Rewards program made it clear that your data might be out there.
Do you think it should change?
Absolutely. I do not think that customer purchase history should be so freely and readily available to the general public.
Forrester says he never got a sufficient response from Walgreens and he wanted answers.
Are they going to fix the problem? Are they going to, apologize to people for allowing this to happen?
So we took the issue directly to Walgreens corporate, and that's exactly what they did. Less than 2 days after our inquiry about it, the website changed. A spokesperson politely declined to do an interview, but provided us a statement saying, quote, "We take the privacy and security of our Balance Rewards members seriously. A recent enhancement on Walgreens.com inadvertently also allowed the potential viewing of some additional purchase activity associated with that account. We have taken immediate action to correct this issue. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused," unquote. Forrester relieved it's resolved.
That's all we could talk about.
Yeah, I didn't know it worked like that.
My coworkers hoping I'll forget some of what I've seen.
I also know that you like to purchase cards for people.
I do. Not for you.
Nice. No, I haven't ever gotten a card before. What the heck, man?
Not anymore. No.
Walgreens tell us the issue on their website has gone on since July. Now, after we brought it to their attention, Walgreens.com prompts you to put in a password to see your purchase history. We check with other retailers. They require the same thing. We got results on this. If you've got an issue that doesn't seem right to you, you can email us at investigates@KMOV.com. I'm Lauren Traeger, News 4 Investigates.
Off historic Route 66, 2 hours southwest of St. Louis, a veteran celebrates the day he died every year.
News 4's Emily Pritchard shares his incredible journey back from the grave.
This 90-year-old loves nothing more
I go on a road ride every day.
than a drive along a country Missouri road.
Some of my friends, some of the girls.
Maybe that's because this veteran knows what it's like to not have the freedom of two hands on the wheel.
I just enjoy life over there.
And Walter Dixon knows a thing or two about dying.
That's 5/18/51. That's when I died.
Dixon's final resting place is marked at a cemetery in Korea. He's got copies of his obituary. Normally.
It's just a day that I prefer to celebrate if I'm around.
This Army veteran from Waynesville, Missouri is very much alive to tell his story. It all began when he married a young woman named Agnes in 1950. But the newlyweds only had a short time together. Just months later, he shipped off to war. Korea, May of 1951. Dixon won some money in a poker game and needed a money order signed so he could send it home to his wife. So he marched up to a group of fellow soldiers.
A bomb hit right in where they were. Well, I took my jacket off and wrapped around this guy's legs because they were really bunged up.
But this is the message his family got back in Missouri, signed by President Harry Truman.
Oh, I was reported killed in action, and but I wasn't dead yet. I was captured, but they thought that was me in that hole because my jacket was there, and these letters from my wife was in the jacket.
Killed in action splashed across headlines in his southeast Missouri hometown. But an ocean away, Dixon was fighting to survive.
We got hungry, and we got kind of starved in a lot of cases.
He spent nearly 28 months as a prisoner of war.
We had several things that was not real good, but you have to handle them.
In 1953, Dixon was released by his captors. He returned to the U.S., but his family, waiting to greet him, didn't look the same.
She had remarried and had a kid.
Thinking he'd been killed in war, his wife Agnes moved on. Captions across the country read, "GI husband alive," and she's remarried.
I said, heck. I don't think that was the word I used, but I better not say that right now.
After all his sacrifices, his heart took a risk with a familiar byline.
She wrote my obituary.
Dee Fenton worked at the local paper and typed these sentences when Dixon was declared dead in 1951.
Somebody had to write it, and she was the one that knew him.
Dixon was Dee's next-door neighbor growing up. They rekindled their relationship after she drafted that obituary, and he returned.
I went home to visit one time, and I got a date with her, and we kind of got together.
They married in 1955.
She always joked about writing his obituary again.
Russell Dixon is one of their 3 children.
Every 5 years they renewed their vows.
Those vows stayed true through 61 years of marriage until Dee passed away in 2016.
She's a pretty good lady. Of course, she was awful lucky to have me.
Walter Dixon still lives here in Waynesville, Missouri. He has been awarded 7 Purple Hearts and 2 Bronze Stars.
This October, Dixon celebrated his very real 9 decades of living.
Yeah, I celebrate every day, so why not?
If anyone has direction on how to make the most out of the time you have, it just might be someone who's returned from the grave.
Enjoy every day. And if you don't enjoy every day, you've done something wrong.
Emily Pritchard, News 4.
It's a pretty incredible story. Walter Dixon's service didn't end after the Korean War. He volunteered to serve in Vietnam.
That's right. He later helped found the drill sergeant school at Fort Leonard Wood. He retired from the Army after 24 years of service.
As we shift gears here, we are also tracking weather changes. Right now, the forewarned storm team is back on the road tonight.
Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton joins us live from Chester, Illinois.
Yeah, we're in Chester, Illinois for Storm Mode Tour 2018. And we've got a great crowd already. If there's one thing I love, it's teaching weather. And I'm going to be able to do it tonight to this crowd. We're going to talk about safety, severe weather, tornadoes. It's going to be a good night. There'll be a lot of learning, but we're going to do fun. We already gave away some umbrellas during some pre-show trivia, and they're going to need it because the rain is moving in. Let me go to the radar and I'll show you how we've got our next round of rain that is coming in from the southwest. These showers are just showers. There's no wintry mix. There's no, as someone here told me, hard water. Yeah, there's no hard water. There's no ice. This is just rain.
If the shingles on your roof were falling apart, would you even know it? Some St. Louis area homeowners are getting a shocking surprise. And one longtime roofer says the discovery could be part of a bigger problem. News 4 investigator Chris Nagus shows us whose roofs might be impacted.
Right here. See that?
Carrie House knows this Baldwin roof.
Here's one.
And its problems well.
Here's one.
In 2007, his roofing company installed it.
They're all over the roof.
A decade later, vertical cracks like these are appearing on shingles all over the place.
Tore this shingle all the way up to here.
House showed us this shingle, which appears to be tearing like paper.
Should they lift like that? Absolutely not.
The home belongs to Brad Petullo. He says the problem was discovered a year ago when he hired painters.
And he took pictures of the damage on the roof. He says, you got a problem up here.
Petullo had no idea and says he never expected it. The shingles were manufactured by Missouri-based Tamco, and they were supposed to last a whole lot longer than 10 years.
It's the Tamco 40-year XL.
And he says, well, this one here is a 40-year life. So I went with that particular roof.
House believes these shingles are defective.
There's another big one here.
He's not basing his decision solely on Patullo's roof.
We put on about 111 of them.
How many of them are showing problems?
Best I can tell, in just, rough snapshot, it looks like it's about 10%.
And those are the ones you know about?
That I know about.
Across the river in Waterloo, Illinois,
we put this roof on about 10 years ago.
A different roof installed by House with the same story.
This is not normal to a roof of this age.
House showed us more vertical cracking. Joe Giliberti owns the home.
And we did buy an upgraded shingle. We bought a 40-year warranty shingle when we purchased it 10 years ago.
He says the cracks were discovered during a recent inspection. Giliberti says he called multiple roofing companies, including the one owned by House, for an opinion.
And everybody decided that it was not wind or hail or like that it was bad shingles.
Giliberti says he's in the process of filing a claim with Tamco. He believes the company should cover new shingles plus the labor.
Well, they sent me this.
Back in Baldwin, Patullo has already filed a claim with Tamco.
Then they get a response back that they're going to give me $100 for a roof I paid $15,000 for, and they're only going to cover a portion of the shingles, which don't even match the shingles I have.
And are they offering to pay any replacement costs for labor?
No replacement cost at all, just a check for $100.
Tamco told me that check was meant to cover the cost of removing samples for determining whether he has a Tamco product, and if so, whether there is a manufacturing defect present. Patullo refuses to cash it. I asked Tamco if they are aware of any manufacturing defects with the Heritage 40-year line, specifically the ones installed 10 years ago. The response? Statistically, it is well known there is variation in every manufacturing process, and variation can result in occasional defects. But adds, to our knowledge, very few shingles we produce exhibit defects. In the case of Patullo, Tamco says the claim form reported cracked shingles and nail pops, issues that can reflect errors in the application of the shingles or problems with construction of the underlying roof deck.
Right here.
House says the shingles were installed correctly.
I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen a lot of, different issues, but I've never seen this.
Tamco is currently named in a class action lawsuit. The lawsuit claims Tamco sold consumers a faulty product and doesn't cover the cost of labor when handling warranty claims. If the Tamco name sounds familiar, it's because the company has been intertwined in political attack ads.
Josh Hawley.
Tamco CEO David Humphreys donated millions to Josh Hawley's campaign for Attorney General. Ads with Tamco CEO front and center claimed that Hawley refused to investigate an alleged pay-to-play scheme involving a high-dollar donor.
The Golden Boy refused to investigate.
Is that true?
Not true. Not true. I mean, look, first of all, my office does not have authority to investigate the allegations that are alleged in that ad.
Would you be opposed to investigating a campaign donor?
No, of course not.
The Missouri AG's office has received 35 Tamco complaints since 2008. A spokesperson for the office said all complaints received by the Attorney General's office have followed standard procedures and been resolved through the mediation process. In Illinois, the AG's office has received 20 Tamco complaints since 1999.
That's full.
The homeowners we talked to just want what they paid for.
And then right there begins the crack.
And believe a 40-year roof should last more than a decade.
This is something that's got to be taken care of more sooner than later.
I think Tamco should be responsible for that.
Bottom line, if you have Tamco shingles on your roof or if you suspect your shingles might be a problem, you can ask a professional roofer to take a look, something these homeowners would encourage you to do because they had no idea there was a problem until someone else pointed it out. Chris Nagus, News 4.
The cries of the vendors during a baseball game are part of what makes America's pastime memorable.
But one vendor at Busch Stadium makes your visit to a Cardinals game something you won't soon forget. Let us take you out to the ball game in this week's St. Louis Proud.
Already, my name is Ray Wilkins. I'm the oldest beer vendor on this side. And I sell beer to Cardinal Nation. Thank you, man. That's what I do. Off and on, I've been with Sports Service since I was 12, and I'm 63 today. Who's rolling with the king? Being so cold it hurts your face. They call me the king. Who drinking with the king? I had to work my way through the chain. I had to sell the king of beer. I just started saying the king and people started liking it. And I started selling so much. Don't lie, no way. That they didn't call me Ray no more. They called me king. Who drinking with the king? See your ID, man. See my boss right there? You'll get me fired. You got to be 21. He barely made it. Come on, good looking. You too young to be messing with me. She don't look a day over 19.
Yeah, sure.
And she tell me she gonna be 82 Saturday. Get on out of here. What you drinking? Michelob. You know, real Cardinal fans drink the king of beers, man. Too cold to hold this beer, gotta be sold. Get it up, guys. Get it up. Get it up. Cardinal Nation, let me hear you say yay, yay.
He's the king, if you would. He has a variety of ways to get the fans interacting.
It's the fans. It is this place, and it get me energized. And, of course, Cardinal Nation. You got to be 21 to be talking to me. Oh, baby, you too young. And I try to take care of all my customers, my men are kings, and my females are queens. To my queen. Yeah. Hey, ladies, to the playoffs. Let me hear you say, yay, yay. And I feel that it's playoff time. That's why I sell playoff beer. Hey, I got playoff beer, and I got it right here. Hurt. Girl, you kind of young looking. Pass that to my girlfriend. Say the king! To Cardinal Nation, baby. To the playoff, let me hear you say, yay, yay. Yay.
Wasn't going to get a beer until he came by and enticed us to get one, or two.
The big dog is in the house.
King of beer sellers. Oh, yeah.
I was teasing with him. I've never talked to him before, and he's just went with it.
I'm watching you. And you're too young for me.
And what I really liked about him, he called me that I was too young to drink one.
Wish we had more like him. He's one of the best. You can always count on him, and doesn't miss very many games.
If the old body allow me to do that, I'm going to work on my knees, I'm going to work out, I'm coming back, I'm going to try to do this till I made it. Who rolling with the king? Thank you, baby.
Now we want to head out to South St. Louis, where News 4's Steve Savard and Courtney Bryant standing by. KMOV is just about to hand over the keys to the new homeowner. Steve and Courtney.
Bring in KMOV General Manager Mike Murphy, who's made this one of his important projects in the community since taking over as General Manager at KMOV. And Mike, this is where you get the chance to hand over keys to two deserving families.
That's right. Shante, Jacoby, after all the many hours you guys have put in, all of the hard work and the prayers, the family, the help from all these great volunteers and these great companies, on behalf of Habitat for Humanity and from Channel 4, guess what? I get to give you both the keys to your new home. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. All right.
Congratulations.
We have a great crowd here, and this is a community effort. So many people came together in the 3 weeks since we broke ground to make this happen. We're going to turn you two homeowners loose to go take a look. Jacoby and Shante, head up to your new home, and we're gonna watch.
All right.
Families with them. What a great opportunity. I loved it, Courtney. The tears were streaming down Jacoby's face as you're interviewing her. It means so much to her.
You can just tell that she's put in so much hard work over these last couple of weeks, and to see this dream come to fruition.
There goes Jacoby into her house. And Shante with her family into her house. That's awesome. That's awesome. We are not going to stop there. When we come back, we'll give you tours inside both Jacoby and Shantae's new homes. That's coming up on News 4 at noon.
Live from KMOV, this is News 4 at 6.
For the moment, let us walk off the battlefield with our heads held high.
The governor of Missouri is stepping down. Thank you for joining us for News 4 at 6. I'm Steve Savard.
And I'm Courtney Bryant. The historic announcement comes after months of scandal and investigation against Governor Eric Greitens. We have team coverage right now with crews gathering the latest from Jefferson City and from right here in the News 4 newsroom. First, we start with our Matt Cesny.
Yeah, Courtney, it was stunning and it was quick today. This decision from the governor coming just as the special committee investigating him was meeting just 2 floors down in the Capitol basement here. And a local judge just about 4 blocks from the Capitol building had ruled against the Greitens camp, supporting a subpoena from the House committee and ordering Greitens attorneys to turn over documents to them. At about 3 o'clock today, the committee chairman quickly ended that committee hearing, wrapping it up, while a witness was testifying about alleged wrongdoing in the Greitens campaign. And then came the governor's stunning announcement at 4:30 this afternoon.
This ordeal has been designed to cause an incredible amount of strain on my family. Millions of dollars of mounting legal bills, endless personal attacks designed to cause maximum damage to family and friends. Legal harassment of colleagues, friends, and campaign workers, and it's clear that for the forces that oppose us, there is no end in sight. I cannot allow those forces to continue to cause pain and difficulty to the people that I love. I know, and people of good faith know, that I am not perfect. But I have not broken any laws nor committed any offense worthy of this treatment. I will let the fairness of this process be judged by history.
All right, many Republican lawmakers I communicated with by text today told me they were finally relieved getting this announcement from the governor. At least 2 Republican lawmakers that I spoke to tell me that this House investigative committee was well on its way, they believe, to drafting at least 5 articles of impeachment against the governor just over the campaign issue alone. And another lawmaker telling me that it was likely pressure from many high-powered donors who are now risking having their names made public by that judge's ruling today. Nonetheless, Governor Greitens is stepping down on Friday, and Lieutenant Governor Mike Parson will become governor of Missouri. And I'm told by several sources that State Senator Mike Kehoe from the Jefferson City area will become the next lieutenant governor. Live inside the state capitol, Matt Cesny, News 4.
Lauren Traeger's been following these developments this afternoon.
And now, Lauren, you have a reaction from the St. Louis Circuit Attorney.
Yeah, the governor there mentioning he has not committed any crimes. Earlier this year, the circuit attorney charged the governor with 2 separate felonies. One has been dismissed, but it is still under investigation. The other is still pending in court. Now, it's very possible that Greitens and his team may have worked out some sort of plea arrangement that involves this resignation. This afternoon, St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner issued a statement saying, in part, "As a prosecutor, my decisions must be based upon facts and evidence, regardless of the position or power of the accused. While that may have been unpopular at times, I have been in contact with the governor's defense team over the past several days." She goes on to say, "We have reached a fair and just resolution of the pending charges." She says she will provide more information about that resolution tomorrow. Now, an important point of clarification here, this is only in regards, I'm told, to a felony against Greitens for tampering with computer data that's connected to a donor list for his charity that was provided to the campaign. Tonight, we are hearing from a spokesperson for Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker. She has been selected as a special prosecutor to look into allegations that the governor took a picture of a woman in a state of undress without her consent. The charge was dismissed in St. Louis in the middle of jury selection for the trial, but a spokesperson for Baker says their investigation into that case continues tonight. Now, I asked the spokesperson if a deal has been worked out in that case, to which the spokesperson said no. So again, the circuit attorney told us today they will be announcing the resolution of the tampering charge tomorrow, but the other case, the investigation there, still ongoing tonight.
All right, Lauren, we'll look forward to the announcement tomorrow. Thank you.
We want to turn now to our Chris Negus in our newsroom monitoring reaction from elected officials. Chris, what are you hearing?
Steve, reaction is pouring in, but most of the reaction from elected officials has been short, steering clear of any potential controversy. Both U.S. senators have issued statements on the Greitens investigation. Senator Roy Blunt said the governor made the best decision for his family and the state. I look forward to Governor Parsons' leadership and will do everything I can to be helpful. U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill also issued a short statement saying, I wish Lieutenant Governor Parson the best. I look forward to working with him. Republican Congresswoman Ann Wagner also reacted to today's resignation, saying Governor Eric Greitens has made the right decision for his family and for the state of Missouri. The Missouri House leadership issued a joint statement on the governor's resignation, saying in part, we believe the governor has put the best interest of Missourians first today by choosing to resign. Missouri Republican Party Chairman Todd Graves did not talk about Governor Greitens, but issued a statement about Lieutenant Governor Mike Parson, who becomes governor on Friday, June 1st. In part, it reads, Mike is always